white roads, and then we'll be back onto tarmac. It's not that long before we get to the next sector, and it'll be the last of the white roads that we deal with. Gonçalves just suffering a little bit, and just looking at Jules Jensen right now. And the gaps are starting to become fissures, and there's riders all over this course. This is more familiar, Brian.
Yes, his teammate Durbridge is just in front, and then in front of Durbridge, Tom Dumoulin trying to go across to the four riders in the leading group of Stybar, Kwiatkowski, Greg van Avermaet and Tim Wellens. So two Belgians in the front, a Czech and a Polish rider in the front four.
Well, anyone's pick. Dr. Mike Watts on Twitter says, to my mind, I've changed it. He says again, he's going for Kwiatkowski. I'd like to see that actually, because he sort of had a lull, Kwiatkowski, after his great season. But it's good to see him back where I think he should be, which is at the forefront of our thoughts. Tom Dumoulin as part of that group, and I think they're a group that's suffering, and it's because of the hammer that's being imposed by these guys. Tom Dumoulin, that's the Greg van Avermaet group as well. Here we are, Stybar, Tom Dumoulin, Tim Wellens, Kwiatkowski. Just having a look further back as well, just to see what the gaps are. So we've had a couple of bridges here. If it gets to be a fast sprint, who's your pick?
Well, up that climb, it's not going to be fast, but
over the top of it.
I think over the top.
You've still got 300 metres.
Yeah,
if they reach it.
It's twisting and turning on the stones, and I think it's just who's got the strength. I would say of these riders who can sprint, Greg van Avermaet, of course, but so can Stybar, so can Kwiatkowski. I think Tim Wellens is thinking about how he can come in and win on his own. As we see in the back of the group now, Tom Dumoulin has made it across. Look, Durbridge is in there again, Jules Jensen, but a lot of these riders will now know that with the stronger riders that were there, they're not wanting to help each other. And it's real no surprise that Tom Dumoulin is thinking, well, I'm maybe not as strong as the other four that were in front. I came across to them, and it could get a little bit more tactical now.
I think it will, and we're just about to transition off the Strade Bianche. We've got about another 100 or 200 metres or so before we get onto tarmac, or asphalt I should say. Then the road rises and falls just a little bit before our final peak, before the penultimate peak, if you like. It's 18% they're going to have to take, although short, sharp shock. It's about 500 metres of 18%, and that will come with 13Ks remaining, and that's where I think Tom Dumoulin might have an option, but it's a tenuous one, I believe, today in this company. So they regather themselves amongst the vines. As you can see, it is wine country. Somebody's saying no wonder that Chris Froome described this part of the world as, in fact it was Jeanette saying Chris Froome wasn't wrong when he said that Yorkshire reminded him of Tuscany. Well, I'm a Yorkshireman, Derbyshire borders, and I've got to say it feels very familiar. Here we go then. It's time for those who can put in a decent time trial, Brian, to engage that effort and try and sap the legs of the quick men.
Well, it's a case of you've got Kwiatkowski, Stybar, Greg van Avermaet and Tim Wellens, probably the strongest four of this group. If you come into Siena, unfortunately, you're going to go for fifth place. So it does look as if Jules Jensen and Durbridge. Durbridge, for me, has to have a go. He cannot just sit there. He's going for a minor place if he comes into town with the riders in this group. So I think Durbridge, Tom Dumoulin, they're two riders that have to go on the attack.
And here we go, exactly that. Now you know that Tom Dumoulin can time trial, and this is that sort of rolling section, at least on an asphalt surface, that doesn't have the same worry, skittery worry that we get with the Strade Bianche. Gonçalves, now a chaser listed. Been a brave ride by the 28-year-old Portuguese, and he'll have other days, but it's been a great, powerful performance by him, hasn't it, Brian?
He's been the rider of the day, in my eyes. Been in the breakaway, hanging on, and you know, inside the last 20 kilometres, and he's very close. He's had a terrific ride today.
Right, we're going to squeeze in a commercial break, and then we'll be back, hopefully, for this last section of Strade Bianche before the rolling terrain all the way into Siena itself. A couple of little hills to take as well. They're trying to soften them up out there, the boys who must go long, because the strong will have them in the end if they don't.